There are certain sounds that feel wrong before your mind even understands why. A phone vibrating in the dark, a lock turning too slowly, the soft chime of a security app when no one should be at your door. Some sounds do not wake you up, they pull you into something. That is how this started. Not with a scream, not with footsteps, not with a stranger outside my apartment in the middle of the night. Just with my phone lighting up on the nightstand and a notification from my doorbell camera that should not have existed. I live alone, and that changes the way you hear things after midnight. Every sound becomes personal, every hallway noise feels like it was made for you. Every unexpected light in the room feels like it knows your name. My apartment is small, bedroom, short hall, bathroom, living room, front door, and right outside that front door, mounted above the frame, is a doorbell camera I installed after moving in. I never really thought about it after that, it was just there, one of those small modern things people trust too easily. Something that turns fear into footage, something that lets you believe every problem has a replay. That night I woke up because my phone buzzed once against the wood. I opened my eyes, looked at the screen, and saw the notification. Motion detected, front door camera. The time under it read 2:14 a.m. I stared at it for a second, half asleep, not even frightened yet, just irritated, because there was no reason anyone should have been outside my apartment at that hour. I unlocked the phone, opened the app, and saw the clip waiting for me, 8 seconds long, recorded successfully, but the date under the thumbnail was wrong. Not a little wrong. Not time zone wrong. Tomorrow. The next day. A date that had not happened yet. I actually checked the top corner of my phone to make sure I wasn't losing my mind. 2:14 a.m., the current date's still the same, but the clip was marked as tomorrow. I remember thinking it had to be a sync bug or bad metadata, or one of those strange app glitches people complain about and then forget, so I pressed play. The video opened, and I saw my own apartment door from the outside, fisheye distortion from the little doorbell lens, the number plate crooked, the peeling paint near the bottom, the doormat I kept meaning to replace, nothing strange. First, then the door opened, and I stepped out. Me. Same shirt I was wearing right then, same sweatpants, same tired posture, same face, same stupid way I brushed a hand through my hair when I was anxious. I watched myself from tomorrow stumble into the hall outside my unit, pull the door shut behind me, then back away from it like something on the other side had gotten too close. I was still in bed while I watched that happen. Still under the blanket. Still holding my phone. Still listening to my own breathing in the dark. On the clip, future me looked straight into the camera and said, "Whatever you do, don't check the peephole." Then the video ended. I played it again immediately. Same thing, same words, same expression on my own face, the kind of expression that doesn't look frightened at first, just stunned, as if fear had already passed through it and left something flatter behind. I sat up in bed and stared at the bedroom door, not moving, not because I believed the clip completely, not yet, but because some part of me already understood that if I stood up too quickly, I might step directly into whatever had made that version of me speak that way. I checked the app. Again, the clip was still there, still marked tomorrow. Then another notification came in. Motion detected, front door camera. Same wrong date. Tomorrow again. I opened the second clip with hands that were already starting to shake. This one began with the hallway outside my apartment still empty. Then the camera mic picked up a soft knock from inside my unit. Not from the hall, not from a neighbor's door, from behind my own front door. Then my future self stepped into frame again, closer this time, and whispered, "It's already inside," when the second knock comes. The clip ended. I remember saying no out loud, quietly, automatically, like the word had left me before I chose it. Then I looked at my real front door through the dark apartment, too far from the bedroom to see clearly, but close enough that I knew exactly where it was. I listened, nothing, no movement, no footsteps in the building corridor, no elevator, no neighbors, nothing at all. The apartment was holding still around me in that horrible way spaces do when you begin expecting them to betray you. I told myself not to panic. I told myself the video could be fake or corrupted or somehow built from cached footage and voice cloning and bad timing. There are always explanations when you say them fast enough. Then someone knocked on my front door. Once. Soft. Polite. Not urgent, not violent, just one calm little knock, the kind that assumes you are already halfway to opening it. Every muscle in my body went rigid because that sound matched the clip too well, and because the warning had not been, "Don't answer the door," it had been something much stranger. "Don't check the peephole." That made the silence after the first knock worse. I sat there in bed, phone in hand, waiting, and a minute later another message arrived. Not from the doorbell app this time. just a plain text notification from an unknown number. No contact name, no picture, only one sentence. Do not go to the door until you hear the second knock. I stared at that too, because by then the night had already stopped pretending to be normal, and once a night crosses that line, every new impossibility feels less like a surprise and more like a system revealing itself. I typed, "Who is this?" then deleted it. I didn't need an answer, not really, because whoever was sending messages already knew more than I did. Then the second knock came. 3 taps. Still gentle, still measured, but not from the front door. From somewhere inside the apartment, near the kitchen. I felt the blood drain from my face so fast it almost hurt, because sound does not need logic when it enters your body. I knew that knock had not come through the door. I knew it had come from deeper in the apartment, from the dark that separated the bedroom from the front entrance. And before I could think, the phone buzzed again. "Now you can check." That sentence changed everything, because suddenly the rules became visible. The first knock had been outside, the second had not, and whatever had made the clip from tomorrow knew I would understand that too late. I got out of bed slowly, not because I was brave, but because fear eventually reaches a point where staying still feels like volunteering to be found. I stepped into the bedroom doorway and looked down the hall, dark, empty, the faint outline of furniture where it should have been. The weak city light bleeding through the living room blinds, nothing obviously wrong. And that made it worse, because ordinary rooms become unbearable once you suspect they are waiting for you to notice the exact wrong detail. My phone buzzed again. "Do not use the peephole after it speaks." I read that twice, then a third time, and before I could understand it fully, my own voice called from the front door. "Can you open up?" That was the moment something in the apartment changed shape, because hearing your own voice in another place does not feel like hearing a person. It feels like part of you has gone ahead and turned back toward you. It was exact, my rhythm, my tone, my tiredness, not similar, mine, and it came from the other side of my front door, as if I were standing in the building corridor outside my own apartment, waiting for myself to let me in. I did not answer. The voice came again, still calm, still.
"Perfectly mine."
I forgot my keys. Then the text thread buzzed once more. That is not the voice from the clip. I backed up a step without meaning to, and my heel touched the bedroom rug hard enough to snag. I nearly fell, caught myself on the doorframe, and listened harder. Nothing moved. Then, from the kitchen, another knock, one knock, inside the apartment again, then silence, then my phone. "Do not let it know you know the difference." That sentence was so specific it felt like a hand on the back of my neck, because it meant the thing doing this was not just making sounds, it was watching how I understood them. It was testing me, teaching itself the layout of my fear. I moved into the hall at last, one step, then another, keeping my eyes away from the front door, because by then the peephole had become something worse than glass. It had become a rule, and rules are always more frightening than monsters. A monster can be random. A rule means something has done this before. My phone screen was the only light in my hand, and in that weak glow the hallway looked smaller than usual. As if the walls were leaning in, the front door stood at the far end, still shut, still locked, chain hanging where it always hung, nothing visibly wrong. Then my own voice said from the other side, lower this time, closer to the wood. "Please." And from somewhere behind me, inside the apartment, I heard my footsteps cross the living room.
Exact rehashigrektehashme.
Exact wait. 1, 2, 3, slowly coming toward the hallway, not the sound of someone like me, the sound of me. I turned halfway toward the living room before stopping myself, because if I saw it, if I confirmed it, then maybe I would lose the last room in the apartment that still felt partially mine. The phone buzzed again. "When it reaches the hall, do not look through the peephole." I don't know why that warning was worse than all the others. Maybe because by then I had already begun to understand what the peephole really was. Not a way to see safely, but a way to be seen safely. A small circle that would let something outside and something inside agree on where I was standing. The footsteps behind me stopped, not far, just beyond the edge of the living room darkness, and the voice at the front door laughed. My laugh. Soft, almost embarrassed, like I had just been caught in some harmless mistake. Then 3 things happened so close together they still feel like one moment. There was one soft tap on the inside wall beside the front door. My phone screen flashed with a new clip from tomorrow, and the peephole darkened, not because someone covered it from outside, because something on the inside leaned in front of it. I opened the clip. Future me was in the corridor outside the apartment again, closer to the camera now, pale, sweating, eyes fixed somewhere just below the lens, and behind him, through the narrow gap of the peephole from the outside, I could see an eye looking back. Not human. Not exactly. Too still. Too round. Too certain. Future me on the clip whispered, "If you look through it, it learns which side you belong to." Then the video ended. I stepped away from the door so fast I almost slammed into the wall, and from behind me, inside the apartment, my own voice spoke from the dark living room. "So that's what it told you." I ran. Not to the front door, not anymore, to the bathroom, because it was the nearest place with a lock, which in hindsight was probably exactly what it wanted. But panic always makes the smallest room feel safest. I made it inside, locked the door, turned on the light, and stood over the sink trying not to hyperventilate, phone in one hand, ear to the cheap painted wood, nothing for maybe 10 seconds. Then my voice on the other side of the bathroom door, inside the apartment now, not at the front, right outside the room. "You're making it smaller." The phone buzzed. "Do not answer yourself in a room with no second exit." I almost laughed when I read that, not because it was funny, because it was too late. Then something tapped once on the bathroom mirror, from the other side of the glass, not from the door, not from the hall, from inside the mirror. I looked up before I could stop myself. My reflection was there.
Mine.
Breathing when I breathed. Blinking when I blinked. Then it smiled before I did. That was the first time I made a real sound that night. Not a word, just panic leaving the body like something torn. I smashed the mirror with the soap dish without thinking. Glass burst into the sink. And in every broken shard my reflection was still a fraction of a second too late, or too early. I couldn't tell which. The phone buzzed again. Good. Now leave before it knocks twice on that door. I unlocked the bathroom and ran back into the hall, and the apartment felt different immediately, emptier in the wrong places, fuller in the dark ones. The front door was still there, the chain still hanging, the peephole still waiting, but now the doorbell camera app was open by itself on my phone. Live view active, the corridor outside my apartment empty, yet on the live feed, my apartment door was standing open, as if I had already escaped and forgotten to shut it. I looked at the real door. Closed. Locked. Then on the live feed, someone stepped into the corridor from inside my apartment. Me. Again. Same shirt. Same face. Same body. But this time he looked relaxed, almost relieved, like he had finally gotten out. He walked right up to the camera and said, "Don't open it for the one still inside." Then the live feed died. Black screen. No signal. My heart was hammering so hard by then that my vision felt narrow because the sentence had done something terrible. It had divided me, one inside, one outside, one real, one late, one early. I don't know. All I knew was that I could no longer trust the simple fact of where I was standing. Then came a knock on the bathroom door behind me. Once. Pause. Knock. Twice. The phone vibrated so hard it nearly slipped from my hand. "Run now and do not open the apartment door." That made no sense. The apartment door was the only exit. Unless it wasn't. Unless the way out was no longer where it had always been. I looked toward the living room window, toward the fire stair access at the end of the corridor, toward anything that was not the front door, and then I heard the peephole in the front door click softly, like an eyelid opening. I ran for the fire exit at the far end of the floor, past the kitchen, past the living room, past the sound of my own footsteps chasing me from behind at exactly the same pace as mine. I shoved the crash bar and burst into the stairwell. Cold concrete air hit my face. The heavy fire door slammed behind me, and all the sound in the apartment stopped at once. Not faded, stopped. I stood there on the landing shaking so hard I had to sit down, and a final text arrived. "You only survive if it thinks you're the one who left." I stayed in that stairwell until morning, and when I finally went back with building security, my apartment looked normal, front door locked, chain in place, bathroom mirror shattered, television still unplugged, nothing missing, nothing disturbed except for one thing. There was a fresh fingerprint circle around the peephole, from the inside, and above it, written in the dust on the door in 4 slow words. "You look better outside." I moved out 2 days later, new building, new locks, new door, no camera. For a while nothing happened, then last week at 2:14 a.m., my new phone buzzed on the bedside table, one notification, doorbell camera clip received. I do not own a doorbell camera anymore. But when I opened the file, the first frame was my new apartment door, viewed from the outside, and my own hand was already reaching for the knob.